God's saying that they triggers around us. This we on the next part. Which part is this? Part two, I believe. Part two of this one. But yeah, there are triggers. There's all triggers around this opportunity. There's triggers all around this scenario. There's triggers everywhere. Some of them are triggering you because of the amount of pressure that the enemy wants to trigger you. Because if he can't stop you, he's going to get you to fall back into your old sinful patterns because you have slipped into a spirit of fear, false evidence appearing real, in order to what? Open the door to the enemy. Have you not noticed that the enemy's trying to get you to open the door this time? Yeah. All of this is to get you to open the door. But what did Jesus do? He sat in the Garden of Gethsemane. He's bleeding sweat. God, only you can get me out of this situation. Charlie knew. Only the Magyver, if there's anybody that can get me out of here, is you. Come on now. So Magyver sitting up there. Now it's 2 bombs. Now I got 2 opportunities, 2 options. Oh my God, I can't be in 2 places at once. And this is my bomb tech, meaning this is the guy that I usually use to go to the other location to fix the problem. I can't use him because he's locked in there. Oh my God. God, what are we going to do? And this is when Father, Son, and Holy Ghost are going to come together because his father is now brought into this situation. His father is trying to give him direction. He's like, I can't go in there because if I go, and they're giving him they're sitting up there trying to process the idea. And he's sitting up there, calm down. I need you to think. I need you to think. He's trying to talk him through it. And he's like, what? I can't. We only got like 27 minutes to get this guy out of here. If I only got 27 minutes, what are we going to do? How are we going to get this guy out of here? I got to get him out. And then we got another building that has 100 people in it. What in the world are we going to do here? And that's set to demolish. That bomb's set to demolish that building with 100 people in it. The father came to him, his father. Think. Rationalize. I need you to rationally think about this. How to get yourself out of this problem. How are you going to get out of this problem? God has already given you the instruction. This is Magyver that's literally, he knows how to get out of situations. And right now he's panicking. And his father is trying to tell him, look, this is what we need to do. Riley standing there with her computer trying to be technical support, but she can't even say nothing. Holy Spirit ain't going to talk to you. If God is talking to you, Holy Spirit's quiet. Jesus is represented by Charlie. But Charlie is in the Garden of Gethsemane trying to figure out what he's about to do. God, his father literally tells him, if push comes to shove, you're going to have to make the best decision in this situation. God is putting you into pressing situations where some of the decisions that you're going to have to make is going to mean sacrificing relationships, situations, and scenarios that have been there your whole life. Some are bad relationships you didn't realize were bad God's going to make it easy for you to see that they were bad, but some are going to be martyrs on the stone, meaning they're going to allow themselves to be taken out of this situation. We're getting there. But you should already figure it out by the fact that I made Charlie Jesus. God is allowing Jesus to be crucified. Somebody was making this point, and I've heard a lot of people say the same point. Jesus had all power. He was the Word in flesh. He was God in flesh. He didn't have to go up on that cross. He didn't have to be, for no reason did he have to be up there. Even if they said it, he could have walked away from it. He could have fought. He could have done something holy and caused that scenario to, one, be a demonstration of God's power, But he would have been doing a Moses if he did that. Moving out of what God said for him to do. He had to sit in it. Charlie had to sit in that place. Charlie was sitting there while they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. Magyver won't choose. Some of you, the Lord's going to make the decision that you think that you can make for you. Some of you, he's going to make sure you pass this test because he's going to move the obstruction, the obstacle, the communication, the scenario that would be a problem for you out the way. I was listening to somebody the other day. They were making a point of saying that there are people that ain't even going to answer the phone that you would go to in this season. Because God's saying, not this time. Not no more. That season's over. That's a distraction. And I'm cutting it off. Nope. Bad influences. And some of them are good influences. But for this test that you're under right now, they can't be a part of it. So, you have to choose, which brings me back to Lot's wife. We talked about Lot's wife in the Adam and Eve being restored back to the garden. Lot's wife turned into a pillar of stone. Did God have to turn her into a pillar of stone? What was the instruction? She did not follow the instruction. I'm going back to what I said in that word in Adam and Eve restored to the garden. Some of your God-ordained spouse want to save everybody. Some of y'all want to save everybody. Some of y'all are like, I don't even know who's going to come under judgment in this next season when I get out of this scenario and truly cross over. Who is going to come under judgment? Who's going to no longer be here? Who is going to get hit when this thing falls into place? I don't know who's going to get hit. I want to save everybody. Magyver wanted to save his friend. He wanted to save all the people. And God's saying, you can't save everybody. Some of these people are meant to perish. Some are not meant to perish because they're evil. Some of them are going to perish because they're going to be the martyr of the situation. Jesus was meant to perish. You think God wanted to see his son get hit all them times with that whoop and that cat of nine tails? You think God wanted to see him have to go through the bitters? You think he wanted to see him bleed all over the place and have to carry that cross? That's his son. That's his son. You think he wanted to see that? He was up on that cross in order for it to be finished. Magyver sat there and tried to figure out. Some of y'all been trying to figure out how to save these folks. And God's been showing you it's a potential that you may not still be able to save these people. And you've been praying hard, you've been standing hard, and you've been fasting hard for them. But the one thing that I've been seeing come back up consistently for some of the folks that you've been standing for, it's a scenario of they just don't follow God and they're not going to change. And they don't really understand the fact that, yeah, it's not going to happen. But some of you got to hold on to the fact that God is showing you some of these people are going to change. God gave me a revelation in relation to somebody I've been standing for. Though it may not look like it right now, he's showing me something's going to happen, but I don't know what this person's going to have to lose in order for this thing to happen. But I'm not going to be in the presence of this person when it happens. Remember the word I gave y'all a while back? Talking about the fact that, God is going to evacuate you. He's going to put you in a vacationary space, but you're not going to be able to help with the judgment. Both of Christ also talked about this. When the judgment is happening, you're going to be in your safe location, But these people are going to have to go through their trial in order to bring them to God. God's allowing the trial in order to bring them to Jesus. But you're going to have to let it happen. This guy had to go through this, but Magyver couldn't help him. Remember, Charlie's name is Freeman. For he who the Son sets free. Some of these people are not going to be set free unless God intervenes like this. Next, I'm trying to see this last part of this because it's in a shadowed space. He finds his best solution. Some of y'all gonna find the best. You figured it out in your mind. This is the best solution for this. I know this is gonna work. I done prayed this. I know the exact prayer to pray. I know I fasted for this. I know that this, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. And you're right there. And he gets a phone call from his Satan. And his Satan is telling him, oh, and by the way, I know you happen to not notice the other trigger. He's like, what? What do you mean other trigger? We're ready to do the switch. And he's like, I know. You didn't see the other trigger over there? Yeah, that secondary trigger is to make sure that if you use this particular way to save him, it's still going to fall. He's like, what am I going to do now? Because he knows now he ain't got no time. Because his father is already at the other bomb location and ready to deactivate that bomb. And he's like, now he has to make a decision. God's not going to help in this situation. And so he goes back and he tells Charlie, there's nothing. They're saying that there's a secondary trigger and we don't have time to figure out how to deactivate that second trigger. And Charlie comes to the understanding, okay, I understand what this is. And he says, I want you to go find that man, just like in Taken, particular set of skills that you have. Find him and kill him. And he's like, I hear you. But he's like, I still got a couple of minutes. I'll try to. Charlie starts to hit the glass and looks right at him while he's hitting the glass. And they're like, Charlie, no. The elevator drops. Jesus sacrificed his life. It's a sacrifice. Some of you are going to lose good people. And that's just not in this season. That's going to be throughout. You're going to lose good people that are going to be martyred. Some of them, they are standing, and I say this in the Breaking Dawn review. Some of these people found God while walking with you. And after finding God, they're going to lay themselves as martyrs to help the cause move forward. They're going to be the one to stand in the gap to do what you can't do. And they'll never ask you to do it. Magyver still wanted to try to save him. And he hit that glass and said, no. Time's run out. I'm going to make this decision for you. And for some of you, for my kingdom marriage people, this is what's been happening to your God-ordained spouses. They've been stuck in the midst of indecision. And there's certain things that God's saying, nah, you're going to have to make this decision now. Because if you don't make the decision, I'm going to have that situation make the decision for you. People that you thought, and you want me to bring this in here now? I'm going to introduce this. David had a situation of, he had a friend named Pagham, I forgot what his name was. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. David's friend betrayed him. His name was Ahithophel. Apithopheles. I can't pronounce that name. It's spelled Ahithophels. He ended up betraying him, but he ended up committing suicide by hanging. So there is people that they have been ride or die friends to your God ordained spouse, but they were uncontrollable, meaning they operated irrationally, they operated in worldly ways, and you God ordained spouse was always trying to save them out of situation. I'm reminded of the scene in Save the Last Dance when, remember Q from Moesha? He was the one that kept coming back and bringing Sean. Oh, what's his name? Sean? I forgot what his name was in that film. Problems. And Sean kept trying to save him. He kept trying to save him because he felt like he owed him something because of something he did to protect him. And I see in a lot of these types of scenarios, and this may be your kingdom spouse's situation, a lot of them have been protecting certain people because they protected them from something that should have took them out years ago, kept them out of trouble, kept them out of jail, kept them out of being exposed in the public eye, kept them from being exposed on the community level. These are people that kept them. And the only reason they kept them around is because that person always would come back and say, remember what I did for you, right? Remember what I did for you? And God's even saying, yeah, I'm going to take that person out too. Because that's what's holding you up right now. And for some of y'all, let that be your revelation. That's what's been holding your God ordained spouse up. Because this person who wanted their spot, Megan Michelle did a word about 6 months ago where she talked about there are people like Hamans. And God tying this in because I'm going to talk about that later. These people are people that you thought were friends. Your God ordained spouse thought was friends to them. Thought they were protected people. And these people like, I'm only here to keep, they've only been there to be the stopgap that is literally what's keeping them from you. Because of the fact, like, every time the enemy needs to use, think about like this, and God's bringing this to me. Remember when I talked about Jacob and the mother and the brother? That's what this type of situation is. Some of you God ordained spouses got mamas, got sisters, some of the counterfeits, and somebody did this. Somebody was talking about this. And I wrote it down somewhere yesterday. And I didn't think about it, but it's being brought to my attention right now. Some of your enemies only got together. Some of your God ordained spouses only